What's going on, guys? Thanks for stopping by. Today we're going to be taking a look at a few new items from DNT Optics. The new Hydra HS335, the QDM150 QD mount, and the QDM150 red dot adapter. Before we get started, I want to give a shout out to a company in Florida that makes some pretty awesome shirts and shooting glasses. The company is called Vandium Gear. I've been using their shooting glasses for a couple months now, and I absolutely love them. They give you plenty of protection, and unlike a lot of other glasses, they don't hurt after a few hours of wearing them with earmuffs. Along with the glasses, they also offer some pretty cool shirts, my favorite being this one, Trust God, Not Media. I think that message is pretty self-explanatory and kind of speaks for itself. So do me a favor and go check them out and take a look at what all they have to offer. And I appreciate them supporting the channel. Full disclosure, DNT did send all of these to me for the purposes of making an overview video of all of them. Alright, so first let me go over some of the features of the new 335, and then we'll talk about the new mounts and how they can be used. If you've been with the channel for a little while, you know that I've recently reviewed the Hydra 225 thermal from DNT, and I really enjoyed using it. The new 335 is an upgraded version of the 225 Hydra. The 335, besides having a different name and number, has a higher resolution and a longer focal length of the objective lens. The 225 had a 256 by 192 resolution and a 25mm focal length of the objective lens, whereas the 335 has a 384 by 288 resolution and a 35mm focal length of the objective lens. Basically, the 335 can detect temperature differences a little clearer and at a slightly further distance. Everything else is pretty much the same on both of them. Now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about these new mounts and the purpose of them and how they can be used on a fighting rifle. If you haven't noticed, thermals have been gaining popularity in the tactical market, mostly in part to the war in Ukraine. Soldiers have been using thermals over there for a while, and they've pretty much become commonplace on the modern battlefield. Hunters have been using thermals for years to hunt hogs and predators, but the market's been full of somewhat expensive optics with minimal crossover to the tactical world. And that's where DNT Optics comes in. They've been making affordable thermals for a while, but now they're starting to kind of merge the hunting thermal with the tactical thermal by offering a lot of different mounts and a lot of different uses for each of them. In my opinion, the Hydra is a great option for a tactical thermal because it's kind of a 3-in-1 optic. It can be used as a standalone main optic like this right here on a fighting rifle. It can be used as a clip-on if you want to put it in front of your main optic, like if you have a red dot or a scope. You can mount it in front of that to give thermal capability to that one. And you can also take it off and use it as a handheld monocular if you just want to use it to like scan an area and don't want to have it attached to a gun at all. Now when I reviewed the 225, I liked all of the options, the 3-in-1 capability and all that stuff, but there were some obvious drawbacks with some of those that we needed to address. And I believe that DNT has kind of remedied most of those with these new mounts they're offering with the 335. The first drawback was the reliance on a digital optic as your main sight on a rifle. Like if the batteries go out on this, or if it fails for any reason, or even if the conditions you're in aren't ideal for thermal use, you're kind of stuck because you've only got that one optic on here and you can't really use it. For a hunting rifle, that's not that big a deal, but for a fighting rifle, that's a really big deal. So this new QD mount, you have the option of getting the red dot adapter on the side of it right here. So now you can have your thermal on top and your red dot offset to the side. Now if anything happens to your main thermal, you've got a constant, more reliable option on the side. This is always here, and it's always going to be on, and you can always use it no matter what. Now I know you're probably thinking you could easily just get another red dot offset mount and mount it in front. And you could do that, that's true, but this just makes it a little more convenient because it's integrated into the other mount, and it saves you a little bit of space on the rail because, like I said, it's integrated in. You don't have to add it in front of the other one. The second drawback was the inability to quickly remove the optic for handheld use. The mount that it came with, the 225, It had 3 cross bolts on it. You had to screw it in. It was locked in place. If you ever wanted to take this off, you had to completely unmount the optic, and you had the entire mount still attached to the bottom of the unit. And having the ability to remove it and use it as a handheld binocular is great, because if you just want to scan an area, you can take the thermal off and use it by itself. You don't have to point the gun at things that you're not planning on shooting yet. You don't know if you need to shoot. Just a great way to, a safety thing to remove the thermal. And heck, maybe you just wanted to use it outside of, the gun space. You just wanted to, look at something, check your field, whatever you want to do. You can take it off and use it that way. And it also can save your arms from not having to hold your 10-pound rifle and using it as a tripod for your thermal. Now, one of the cool things about this mount right here is that when you disconnect it, pull that lever, the thermal comes off. The good thing about this is the mount stays attached to the rifle, which makes the binocular a lot more streamlined. It's a lot smaller. You don't have that mount hanging off the bottom. You can put this in a pocket or a pouch a lot easier. It just makes it more lightweight and a little bit more convenient. So you can take the thermal off and maintain the red dot on the rifle. That way, if you just wanted to use it as a handheld, you still have a way to aim your rifle if for whatever reason you've taken that thermal off. This stays attached and it stays zeroed to the rifle at all times. So having the mount stay on the rifle is good sometimes, but it can also be bad. Like if you wanted to use this in the most options possible, maybe say you have this as a primary, like on this rifle with the red dot as a backup, and you also wanted to use it as a handheld and a clip-on, use all 3 options, you're probably going to have to buy more of these bases to mount on each gun. Like if I wanted to put this on my GPR, I wanted to mount it in front of my scope, I'd have to buy a base to put on that rifle so I could take it off of this one and clip it in on that rifle. And if that's the route you wanted to go, you'd probably be better off just mounting the red dot on a separate mount attached to the rifle by itself. That way you can take the QD off and use it with the thermal, have it attached on the bottom, and you can use the QD to attach it to many different rifles. And that's not hard to do, because you can just replace the red dot side right here with the standard side, and you can take this off and flip it over and hard mount it to the bottom of this, and then use the QD side of it to mount to the gun. If you look, this has a Picatinny on the bottom, so you really have on the QD mount, you've got Picatinny here that's quick release, and then you've got Picatinny on the bottom that's screwed in permanently with these. So like I said, you flip it over, you permanently attach it to this Picatinny, and then you've got the QD version on the underside that you can then mount on all your different rifles. So as you can see, DNT has given us tons of options for using and mounting the Hydra thermal scope. So if you're in the market for a thermal, or you feel like you need one, the Hydra definitely needs to be on the list. It gives you a ton of capability at a really manageable price compared to most other units on the market. That's all I got, guys. Hope you liked the video. Hope you found it useful. As always, get in the gym, get in the Word, make yourself stronger physically and spiritually. God bless. We'll see y'all next time.